I'm going to show you how to monetize a small audience because I see so many people out here that are chasing the big numbers or chasing the vanity metrics like the followers, the freaking likes, all of this stuff, but they're struggling. In fact, some of the biggest influencers out there, especially in the health and fitness space, because I've had many of them hire me as a consultant, they have hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're barely making any money. Some of them are making like 5 to 10,000 a month with following count of over 200,000. And so I've seen this on both sides of the spectrum. I have clients that have made under, 5, 6,000 friends or followers on Facebook, and they're making over 30, 40, $50,000 a month, right? So it's not about the amount of followers. It's about what you do and how you treat and care for the people that you have. And so I'm going to walk you through today just some things that have helped me, that have helped my clients over the past, 10 to 13 years that I've been doing this. 13 years I've been running a gym, built a gym to over 300 members. That was like my first hoorah, if you will. The gym was like my dojo where I really learned like the skills and things to build a business. We did that over the course of 8 years. Partway through the gym, we launched an online business, a fitness business, and we grew that fitness business to multiple 6 figures. And then I've been running this marketing business and consulting company for the last 4 years. For me, I've never had a big audience. In fact, I would say at any given time, I probably have between like 1,000 to maybe 3,000 people that are paying attention to my stuff. And there is a guy named Kevin Kelly who wrote an article years and years ago, and it was called 1,000 True Fans. Look it up. Really good article, short read. But the concept of this was that musicians and artists and people that are selling like lower ticket stuff, they don't need to have these massive audiences, that they could actually make a really good living from an audience, a true audience of like loyal, raving fans of 1,000 people. Now for us, if you're in the coaching business, the consulting space, whatever it is, and you are selling higher ticket prices, you really don't even need 1,000 people. I mean, can you imagine if you had 1,000 true fans? You would be like a multimillionaire. You don't need a lot of people when you're selling a medium or high ticket product. And so let's break this down. So firstly, you want to have a deeper purpose. Okay. Now I recently did a video on stop seeking validation and here's what to do to attract clients. I talk about like your North Star in that video. And so let's unpack this slightly, and I'm going to show you how I've used this within my marketing. And so we all are like, I help X people do Y thing, right? So you might help, corporate dads lose 20 pounds. We all have a message like that, and it's great to have something like that in your marketing, but people connect with the human behind that. And so if you don't have like a deeper purpose where you're really infusing into your personal brand, then people often don't want to buy from you. And the reason is because information is a commodity. And there's so many other people that are doing exactly what you're doing. And one of the invisible forces that will help you be able to build a really niche community is by having a deeper purpose that people could buy into, man, that people can gravitate towards. And so, for example, something that I started sharing recently is my vision, like my deeper purpose. And I want to be able to help end prolonged human suffering. And I referenced in that previous video that I believe all humans suffer a little bit, right? Because like that's how we learn. We learn through pain. But it's the people that are suffering for months, for years, for decades. That's what I want to help. I want to help them be able to move towards their full potential. And I think coaches and entrepreneurs are the best to do that, because like we have these messages and these stories inside of us that are like a light, that when we can learn how to communicate out in a way that actually influences people, that converts them, not only do we build profitable businesses, but we're able to change lives. We're able to impact lives. We're able to have the freedom and autonomy that we want, and we're able to help the family tree at the same time. So it becomes very powerful. And so like a deeper purpose for me is like, I'm building what I call the School of Impact, right? This is like my whole focus right now. I like to think about the School of Impact. If you've ever seen the movie X-Men, there's this guy, Professor X, and he has this school for mutants where he teaches the mutants, or he has X-Men teach the mutants how to use their powers for good. That's what I look at the School of Impact being, is how I help coaches and entrepreneurs. I help them take that message, which is their weapon of influence. That's like their power, and their story, which is truly the superpower, right? Because it helps bridge the gap when you know how to communicate it correctly, from where a person is, where the people that are watching you or reading your stuff are stuck. It helps bridge the gap to the desire, to the aspiration that they want. And your unique perspectives, that is like your differentiator. Your wisdom is your differentiator. And so that's what we do. We have the school, we help people. So you could see, like, when I communicate this out there are going to be people that are like, nah, bro, I just want to make money. And there are people out there that are going to be like deeply resonant with that. They're going to be like, hell yeah, man. I want, like, that's what I want. And that allows me to be able to get the right people into my world. And then they become my X-Men. They're the X-Men. They're out there building their own things, changing lives, having profitable businesses, right? And such is life, right? And so what is yours? Like, you have to have that. And the way you communicate it out to the marketplace matters. Let people know about it. Talk about it. Tell your clients about it. And like, that really helps to form this community. Secondly, we want to have a unique mechanism, a big idea that we can bring to the marketplace. One of the things that has been tremendously helpful for me is understanding that there are 4 sales that you have to make before anybody will buy your stuff. And the reason I'm referencing these 4 sales is because within it is a big idea for you to be able to implement. And so the first sale is you want to sell a new belief. I like to think about this new belief as the big idea. And so, for example, one of my big ideas is I believe that messaging is the 5% that produces 95% of your results, whether you are running ads, doing organic content, sending emails, doing DMs, speaking at events, whatever you do. Like, if you don't communicate the right words in the right way, in the right order to the right people, it's going to fall flat. I'm telling you, like, and I've gone into like bigger companies and I've helped like their YouTube teams be able to just get a little bit better at the hooks and call to actions and how they communicate the message. And it increases their performance like crazy, right? So powerful for you to be able to do this. So what is that belief that you have, right? What is that big idea? And so that's number 1. The second thing that sell you have to make is some kind of new identity, right? For me, I know most of my people want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be respected authorities in their niche. And so one of the identities I help people walk into is becoming sought after in their sub niche, to become in demand. Super powerful. So what is that aspiring identity, that new identity you're helping people step into? Thirdly is going to be selling a unique mechanism. And so if my big idea is around messaging, right? That's the 5% that produces 95% of your results. My mechanism is magic messaging makeover, right? So you see how this works? The big idea is like the new belief. And I can even poke holes at the old belief. I could say, that looks a little weird. I'm 12. I could poke holes. I could be like, look, man, if you're posting content, if you're running ads, blah, 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 and you're still not getting it, if we fix your messaging, it's going to make everything easier and better. You get way more inbound leads. You're going to get way more people to respond to your message. And I could tell a story, or I can use a metaphor to help people be like, oh yeah, I could see that. I totally get it. The new identity stretches people. They're like, I want to be in that identity. And then the unique mechanism, in my case, the magic message makeover, is how I help people go from the big idea to their identity. It's how I help them implement, because we have a whole framework and a whole way of doing that. Like in my fitness business, the belief was around, it's not about eating healthy, it's about eating right. My people were trying to lose stubborn belly fat, and they were like eating 600 calories of like apples. And I was like, homie, we got to eat the right amount of calories, the right proportions. It's about eating right. And then I had a mechanism called Flex Fuel Nutrition. And that was how I help people take the action. People want to see that what you do works. And the social proof allows you to tell stories about how other people have done it. Build people's marketing with them over Zoom sessions, and then they just implement it and close the deals. And it's a really popular offer. We have a wait list right now for it. One of the things that I shared in the launch of it that helped with a lot of sales is one of our clients, Rachel, 2 weeks before I promoted this offer, we had helped her in this exact offer, I had helped her generate 197 leads. Like, I helped her write the copy, I helped her do all of the stuff, and we put it out there. 197 leads with a Facebook profile of 2,870 something friends in 2 weeks. And she ended up signing 13 people into a 90-day challenge program that she had. And people were like, hell yeah. right? So like the more you could share the stories about the proof, the more it's going to help pre-sell people because they can see it live in action, right? And so that's the second thing, right? It's having that. So the first thing is like really getting clear on like what that North Star is that people can truly be able to buy into, right? They can buy into the movement. And then the second thing is getting clear on like these 4 different sales that you have to make. And truly the most important one is that big idea, that new belief that you're bringing into the marketplace. And then the third thing is to have a way to be able to nurture people, right? Not everybody's ready to buy. And what most people do, the old school, like, again, most people are still following freaking outdated strategies and tactics. The thing is, funnels these days, they're not linear anymore. They're not linear like they used to be, to where it's like you opt in for this, you go into this, on this landing page and opt in, and now you're on this email list, you go through an email automation and you either buy or they just get stale and die on your list. No matter what, like that's not how it works anymore. People's behaviors have changed when it comes to how they buy. There's timeless principles of buyer psychology that will always be here, but because the way social media has evolved in the age of AI, people make decisions in different timeframes and the behavior is different. So I like to have what I call an invisible funnel. It's not linear. There's different things in different places. And this is one of the things that I help people build out, right? And so like I find that if you truly nurture people, which stands for care for and encourage the development of, like you're going to have people that stick around with you. You're not going to have leads that just die on a list. You're going to have leads that are constantly engaged with you because you were truly helping them grow. You were solving problems, right? If you're watching this video, this is part of my process, is recording these videos that hopefully give you some aha moments or some insights or literally help you solve problems, right? I've had people that hit me up and they're like, dude, I've made like, 20K off of your free content. And I think it's awesome. It's very humbling because it's like what you do matters, right? What you put out there matters. And so I like to use a combination of my Facebook. For me personally, I have clients that use Instagram, but I like to use Facebook profile, email, and YouTube. I use that combination and it works extraordinarily well for me. And yes, we have a process that helps streamline it. I call it a strategic content ecosystem, to where it's almost like the Bermuda Triangle of content, to where like it's very strategic the way we do it, but it's not like a traditional funnel, right? People are living within an ecosystem, and that's what like truly allows me to nurture people over the long term, build relationships, and it gets people to buy. Those are probably the 3 biggest things that I would have to say have yielded the most results for us. If you really want to focus on building a small but mighty audience. And by the way, I've had people do this and then they end up blowing up. I have a client that I worked with a few years ago named Alex Solomon. He had like 3,000-ish friends on Facebook. And using these strategies and principles, he ended up blowing up to like close to 1 million followers, right? But even then, within that base of 1 million followers or however many he's at, there's probably a very core, few thousands of those people that are actually loyal followers. But it allows him to be able to build his business the way he wants. So again, strive to have that 500, 1,000 true followers versus what most people are doing. They're chasing the vanity metrics. They're chasing the shit that doesn't actually matter, right? They're trying to be the most popular person on the internet versus focusing on what actually matters: profit, client results, and freedom. That's it. And simplicity. And so when you do this, it makes it really, really simple. So that's what I got for you today. I hope it was super helpful. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos that are coming down the pipeline your way. And as always, remember, your message matters now more than it ever has before. People are eating too much, drinking too much. They're living life well below their full potential. They're stressed out, man. And you, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a passionate creator, you have this message inside of you that is a light that can shine out into the darkness of the world, and that can truly transform lives. So don't be afraid to speak it. As always, be seen, be heard, and be impactful. Talk soon.